Hello. I'm assuming that I'm live, but I will check. Oh boy, how is everyone? I don't even know if anyone's here yet because I haven't checked. Yeah, it says I'm live. Okay. I might be alone. This is kind of a surprise live. Oh, hi, Lauren. Good. You're here. Now, I know that you're not a beginning seller, however, but you can ask questions, right? So I have set this up with slow mode, and you have to be a subscriber to ask questions, and that's in order to try to prevent the trolls, which you can never prevent every troll. Do I sound okay? How is the sound? Because I know we've been having trouble with the audio on recent lives. There's something going on with YouTube with that because I saw there was another person streaming who was having trouble. Oh, I'm sorry. See, now I put on slow mode, so it's going to take a minute before you can post again. Could someone just let me know? Yes, you can hear me. I sound okay, blah, blah, blah. Just let me know if problems do arise because sometimes YouTube acts weird. Right, so this is basically just going to be a Q&A. If you have any kind of questions about selling on Etsy, if you're a beginning seller, that's kind of the type of questions that like the basics. Okay, good. Sound is great. The basics is for this channel. My other channel is a little bit more advanced, but you can ask anything on these. And I'm in the middle of writing articles today, so I thought this would be a good way to procrastinate. So I don't really have anything topic wise. I will say that on the live from Tuesday on my other channel, we were talking about this chat thing, and Etsy has now been sending out messages to people. I haven't seen this message yet that says they are reserving chat on the dashboard for star sellers. I know a lot of people who are star sellers who still can't find the chat button on their dashboard, and I'm not sure if it's US star sellers only, but you can still find chat if it's available in the regular help section. Just putting it on the star seller dashboard only is really crappy, I think, because I think everybody should have access to help. And a lot of people who are not star sellers are probably the ones who need that immediate help. But I don't know what Etsy is doing, but you still can find all the contact options if you go into the Etsy help section and just search contact and don't touch anything until that auto suggest fills out and it says contact Etsy. If you go in and hit contact and then hit enter, it comes up with a bunch of articles. But if you just type in contact and leave it for a minute, that drop down will come up. It'll say how to contact Etsy, and you choose that one, and then you can go through the whole thing. All right, Lauren says maybe beginners would be interested in basic inventory management, SKUs, how to keep track of your stock supplies. Well, you know what? I'm not the one to ask about that. Well, I don't have that many supplies, and I did set up a system. You have to set up some kind of system that works for you because it just makes your life a lot easier, and it'll let you know when you're kind of low on stock and that kind of thing. I don't see these bins right behind me here. Those are the bins that I keep everything that I make the molds from. So I have seashells and rocks and sticks. And I mean, I'd make some weird molds, but everything that I have is in those bins and they're all numbered. And then on my listings in the title, I put the number on the title. And you can do that in your titles. It's not a problem. It's not going to interfere. And it prints out with the order. So when someone orders a mold, I can see the number that I've assigned to it at the very end of the title, and I can just go and pull it from those bins. And before I did that, I was saying, oh, I think it's in this box, or I think it's over here. And you really can't do that when you get a large number of items because it just takes too much time to find things. So you need to think of some kind of a way to cross-reference when you're listing things, and if you have supplies that you need, or like for my wafer paper stuff that I print, I don't need to do that because I have everything in files on my computer and I just print it. So there's no real supplies to get other than just my wafer paper. So you just think of a way to store things. If you're looking for a way to store things, if you have a closet that you can convert into storage, if you don't have a lot of space, you could do that. Just like clear the closet out and put shelving in there. There's an article on the Artisan Shopper blog that's artisanshopper.com. I'll type that in here. And if you go over there, there's an article over there about storage options that people in the eShop Success program have used. I have to spell it right. And it has a lot of pictures. And there are a lot of things that you can do for storage around your house just to keep track of your materials and that kind of thing. The important thing is to be able to keep track of things so that you can see when you're low on your supplies, and then you can reorder before you're out. Because how to deal with difficult customers. Lauren gives me ideas of things to talk about. And yeah, you have to keep track of things in some way. And as you see this room, it looks disastrous, but I think that all of us know that I could probably find everything in this room. It's probably the same as your storage room. It's a disaster, but you kind of know where things are. But I will say that it's a lot easier to have an organized system so that you definitely know where things are and you don't have to kind of know where things are, because it will save you time without having to go through and look at everything. Every single time you need something, it's difficult to go through and find things as you need them, because it wastes a lot of time. So set up some kind of a system that works for you and follow it. And I'm going to grab a piece of paper. Hold on. Okay, I want to kind of write down, let me get my pen. Okay, I want to write down the timestamp so that I can add that to the, no, you can give me subjects, Lauren. Lauren says, if it isn't helpful, you can stop torturing me. It's fine. It's just, it's a lot of kind of like hopping around mentally, but I want to put timestamps on things to be able to put that in the description so that if people come back later, they can see and you can go to a specific topic. So we're going to do intro, and then right after that, we were talking about SKUs and storage. All right. Lynn says there are videos about inventory management, SKUs, et cetera, from eBay coaches. That's a good idea on YouTube. Now, see, eBay is probably good because a lot of people on eBay sell vintage, and you really have to have a good system for that, or else you're in there just, searching for things. And I've seen videos from people who do the flipping stuff on eBay, and they will have bins in their garage and they have storage bins or whatever, but everything has a number, and then the number is on the bin, and so they know exactly where to go and get things. So just depending on what kind of stuff you're managing, that will help. And it's really important to get that from the beginning so that you're not scrambling around wasting a lot of time, and then you don't have to worry about figuring it out as you go. But also don't be afraid to change your methods, because sometimes, like I didn't start doing these bins until well into my, I don't even know how long, well into my business. So you refine things as you go along. Okay, Sparrow says, Etsy is only allowing me to get to a certain amount per day. What do you mean by that? Like, as far as sales go, I guarantee you that's not true. There's a myth, and I'm going to write this down. There is a myth of an Etsy, like a Etsy capping your sales per day. They don't do that. They might, they want your money. They want the fees. They want to make sales. Okay. I know with new shops, sometimes if you get too many orders, they will put your shop on vacation, or they'll take you out of search for a while to slow things down, just until they can see that you have reliable service and you fill orders and that kind of thing. But I know that there's an idea that Etsy caps your sales, and they don't do that. I'm writing this down. Okay, I can't seem to get over a certain amount of orders a day. Okay, this is not Etsy doing that. Okay, any ideas how to increase the amount? Silly, but I almost feel like Etsy is only allowing me to get a certain amount per day. Yeah, they're definitely not. That's not what's happening. You tend to get a certain number of orders per day just on an average day, and it'll fall within a range. But nobody starts selling on Etsy and immediately starts selling hundreds of things. I don't know how old your shop is, but you'll start hitting kind of an average sale number, so that when you get a lot more than that, it feels like you have a lot. And most people who have sold online for a long time, you have kind of the same patterns on different days of the week. And you'll start seeing patterns. You'll start seeing what you consider like a normal day, a normal number of sales. For me, I get around, I would say probably on average, like 15 sales a day. On days where I get more than 15 sales a day, it feels busy, right? It feels like I'm getting a lot of sales. On days when I get less, it feels slow. So for me, it's kind of settled right around that number, 15 sales. But Etsy isn't limiting me to that. It's just that just happens to be how, like, it's kind of demand. What's the demand for your product and how much supply is there and the whole thing. So what you can do in order to increase those sales is to go in and take the things that are selling really well and maybe advertise those if you want to do that. Promote those things more on social media. Look to see what's working and do more of that. But Etsy does not limit your sales. And I know it can feel that way, but it really, they don't do that because they want to make money. If you were selling, if they find a listing that's going to sell, they will keep putting it in front of people and sell as much of it as they possibly can. That's, they don't limit people. There was a there is a long established rumor that Etsy caps sales, like they won't let you have more sales than a certain amount. Well, no, that's not true. They don't rotate shops in and out of search. They used to address this, but it's pointless because no matter what they say, people still say, oh, well, I'm not getting as many as I think I should. And I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but this is just, if you go looking for it, you'll find it, but they don't do that. So it's really just a matter of us sending the traffic or taking advantage of the things that are already working and doing more of that in order to increase your sales, you know. But it's the same thing. It's like every retail store kind of has the same expectation of how many sales are going to make per day. And some days are busy. Like you'll go into a store some days and it just seems really busy. And the cashiers will be like, oh, we're really busy today. And it's all relative. It's busy compared to a normal day, you know. All right. Judah says maybe something about how to nip it in the bud when customers are trying to become friends. Oh, yeah, this kind of goes back to what Lauren was saying about difficult customers, because you think of customers, I can't talk and write at the same time. You think of customers being difficult, right? I wish this was something stronger than water for this topic, except I don't drink. So sometimes you feel like it will drive you to drink. Most people are normal. All right. Most people are normal. They will buy something. They will thank you with a review. They will leave you alone. Some people are difficult and that's how they go through life, and we will run into them eventually. Everybody runs into a difficult customer. Everybody runs into a bad review. Don't feel like you are the only person to ever get a bad review, and don't feel like you're going to get through your retail career without getting a bad review, because we all get bad reviews. And a lot of times it doesn't have anything to do with you. It could be that person is just a sour grape and goes through life that way. Or it could genuinely be that you did something wrong, or there was something wrong with the product, and that's a different situation. For that, you fix it. If you did something wrong, you fix it if you get a bad review. But if it's a customer thing, because some customers are just angry, some people are just mad, some people are angry in life, right? And they're not going to put that aside when they buy from something. They're just going to bring that with them. Other people are lonely, or they really are enthusiastic about supporting a small business, and they really like that they can send you a Convos, which is the Etsy message system. They really like that. And Etsy really promotes the fact that on Etsy, you can contact a person that is selling to you. And they say, oh, we're different from Amazon because you can't do that on Amazon. You kind of can. You can post questions and stuff, but it's not the same thing. And I have people email me all the time from my website when they have questions. So it's not, Etsy isn't the only place that they can do that, but Etsy really does play that up. So people think that we are sitting around waiting to hear from them. Some people think that we really want to hear from them. And I'm going to see how Judith phrased this. She said, maybe something about how to nip it in the bud when customers are trying to become friends who then expect too much. Yes. And I'll make a sweeping generalization right now and say that because most women and a lot of Etsy, it's like over 85% of Etsy sellers are women. It's a huge number statistically, because women tend to be the ones to try to be nice. We've been trained to be nice to people. You really have to take that hat off and put on your business hat when you're dealing with customers. And there are pleasant ways to tell somebody you're done. Okay. And one way is to not answer every single message. If it's not something that needs an immediate answer, just wait 24 hours. So if somebody is sending you convo after message, and just like every 10 minutes, they're sending you a message. Unless it's something that needs immediate action, just wait and answer the next day. So they get one message a day, they get one response a day. Now, I would not see this as something that you're going to have to, I mean, I would answer questions right away, especially if you're worried about the star seller, which I'm not, but the Convo system, you have to answer that first question within 24 hours. I would answer it immediately, but then if someone piles on after that, you can definitely slow their roll by just not answering until 24 hours later or whatever. And it doesn't affect the star seller thing, so you don't need to worry about that. And a lot of times what I find is when people are sending you message after message really quick like that, if you stop, they'll send you 10 messages and then you can answer all of them at once, and it saves you time too. So that'll slow them down. There might come a time where you have to tell someone that you can't work with them. And if that's the case, it's hard, but you have to just think of a way. There's no need to be nasty to people. Okay. And you can say no in a nice way. And if you're not sure how to do that, just join my Facebook group or post a comment here, and I would be glad to help you write a response, because it's a lot easier to write responses for other people than it is to do for yourself. Because if you're in the situation, there's an emotional component that we don't have. So when people post in my group and say, how should I respond to this? It's very easy for us to come up with a response that's professional, but it's not rude. And it puts a period at the end of the sentence and it's done. It's harder to do that when you're the one in that situation, because you want to be nice to the person and you don't know. And yeah, Patty says some people expect a bad response because of a previous bad experience. That's absolutely true. And she says, if I answer calmly and concerned, that many times calms it down. Yeah. And what I find, I deal with people who are buying things for wedding cakes and for, like, they're decorating a cake for somebody else that they want it to be perfect. And so they're very nervous. And a lot of times when people come across as being very needy, it's just because they're worried about something and they're nervous, and they're trying to reassure themselves that everything is going to go right. And I have actually said to people, it feels like you're really nervous about this, but don't worry, because I'll make sure that everything I send you can use easily. And if you have any questions later, I can help you with it. And then they'll write back and say, I am nervous because I want this to be perfect. It's for my grandmother's 100th birthday or whatever it is, So it's really kind of a public relations thing. It's just handling people. I have a master's in psychology, and it comes in handy. People say, oh, you have a master's in psychology. And I'm like, yeah, it helped to work with brides, but you can kind of see, if you kind of take a step back mentally and say, why is this person behaving this way? It helps you to kind of calm yourself down and not respond emotionally. But a lot of people just like the conversation. But you will get people who try to be your best friend and then ask for favors. And that's where you just have to say, it's not possible for me to do that. I'm really sorry. It's not possible. And don't be afraid to say, I'm sorry, it's just not possible for me to do. I get people asking for custom orders all the time. And I'm like, this isn't going to go well, because they're looking for a really specific color. And that's not how these printers work, because I'm dealing with food coloring. It just doesn't work like regular ink. And I'll just say, I can't match colors. I don't think that I can do this for you. And I really don't have time to do custom work right now. So see you later. Um, every situation is different, but if you ever feel yourself wanting to respond to someone in an emotional way, just don't do it. Just wait, step back, have someone else help you with the response, because it's never going to come out well. It will never turn out well if you respond emotionally to someone, even if they're super rude. If they're super rude, then, 9 times out of 10, it's not anything that you did, or they're just reading something that you wrote and they're saying, that's so rude. I'm going to, but you can't read tone. You can't read tone in text, and people just want to, so just ask for help in responding. Or if you get into a situation where someone is just constantly sending you messages, don't answer until 24 hours later. Slow it down, give them one email a day. And if it really is to the point where you just don't want to work with this person, just say, I'm sorry, I don't think that I can. I'm trying to think of the wording that I use. I say something like, I'm afraid that I can't do what you're asking because it seems like you have a really specific thing in mind, and I'm afraid that I can't accommodate that. So I don't want to disappoint you, and I'm just going to have to turn this down. And that's true. You don't want to disappoint them, because then you're just going to have to deal with them again for another 3 years, So just don't. But you do have to handle every situation kind of individually, but don't ever respond emotionally, and just ask for advice. Ask what, like in the group, ask what people would do. And there we go. And this is, I try to make my Facebook group, I try to keep it professional, and we don't let people get away with saying your customer service sucks. And that's not helpful. So don't be afraid to ask questions in the group, because I have people who send me messages and say, I don't want to post this in the group because I'm afraid. I'm like, why? My group doesn't degenerate into that kind of stuff, because I will kick people out and we just turn the thread off. I mean, there's no reason to be rude. So anyway, Lauren says, Kara's public Facebook group is great. Lots of great info, advice, posts, a lot of helpful people. Yes, there are a lot of helpful people in that group, because that's the tone that we set. All right. And Krista says, oh, wait, there was a question up above. Let me see. I'm sorry, Krista, I'll get back to yours. It was something about joining. Oh, here, Maria says, in the Facebook, do I join you as a personal account or a business page? It has to be a personal account. I think that we set it up that way, because we want people to actually have a name. We don't do anonymous stuff. We don't like the anonymous stuff, because that's how people get away with bad behavior. No, no, no. Yeah, they're afraid. But if you're new, everybody was new sometime. Everybody was new at some point, and the people in that group are very helpful. So don't be afraid to post in there. Okay, now let me go back up to Krista's question. I don't think I skipped anything. Oh, I did. I skipped Sarah's question. Okay, let me do Krista's first, because I have a very quick answer for that. Krista says, what are your thoughts on trying to become a star seller? No, look, the star seller, it's an everybody gets a trophy program. If you just do your job, you're going to get star seller if you make the sales. And see, that's the thing. It's like, I do my job in my cake shop, and I get the sales to get the financials, like the money part of it. That's the thing that's hard for people. If you have a digital shop, or you have a shop that doesn't sell that much. I have 2 other shops on Etsy. One is vintage, one is digital, and they're never, well, I did get star seller in the vintage shop once, because I listed a whole bunch of stuff one month and I sold a lot. So in that 3-month period, I did get star seller, but now I lost it. And that doesn't mean that my service is bad. It just means that I don't pay attention to that shop. I don't list things in that shop too much. So it's, I just, my thoughts on being star seller is that there are a few things that, as they're adding things in, there's slight benefits to it, but nothing so earth-shattering that it's worth worrying about. Like, I don't expend any mental energy on whether I'm a star seller or not. And with the with the abundance of badges, the abundance of stars, there's stars and ratings and everything everywhere. People tend to get blind to that. And I don't think that it's as big a deal for customers as we think that it is. and as we're told that it is, because people are going to look at your reviews regardless before they buy from you. And if you have good reviews in general, then that's going to be, just as good as a star seller thing. And yes, Lillian, I did set slow mode, which means you can only comment once every 1 minute. It's every 60 seconds, because we had spammers who were just flooding the conversation and it was stupid. So I've done that. So I know it's annoying, but that's how it is. Okay, I want to go back up to Sarah's question. I'll write this down. Okay, Sarah says, I've worked my tail off to get listings up and my views have shot from 1 to 2 a day to 30 to 50 a day. Good. So I know it's working. Now to get people to buy, I've gotten 3 in 2 weeks. Good. See, and people say, oh, Etsy loves activity. Etsy doesn't love activity so much as Etsy loves sales. But if you list more things, you're going to have more chance of being found, and then you'll get more visits, and statistically more visits equals more sales. So with a normal conversion rate, you should get 1 sale for at least every 50 to 100 listings that you, or every visits that you have, not every listing. 50 to 100 visits should get you 1 sale. And the sales don't always happen the same day that you get the visit. This is something that I think people don't understand too, or they don't realize. When you have Etsy ads turned on, you can see how long it takes between the time that someone clicked on the ad and saw the listing until when they actually purchased. And some of mine are like 2 weeks. Some buy right away, but some people come back 4 days, 7 days, 2 weeks later. So it's the kind of thing that you don't know if that visit will turn into a sale in a week or whatever, but just over a period of time. And never look at your stats on a day-to-day basis and say, oh, I'm not doing well. You have to give it 30 days, look back 30 days to see how things are going. If you're seeing an upward trend in your visits and you're listing things, that's good. So keep up the good work, keep listing things. I have to list a bunch of stuff in my vintage shop. And I will say that when I list things in my vintage shop, I do sell out of that shop. And if I don't list things will kind of trickle out. It's like sales will come along, but it's not as much as if I'm actually in there listing things, because the more things that you have, the easier it is to be found just statistically in search. All right. Yes, back to just doing a good job. Krista says about the star seller. Yeah, if you're doing a good job, if you're answering, the most important thing as a new seller is to answer your messages quickly. And I don't know where my phone is. I don't know. I think I left it out there, but the only message, the only notification that I have turned on my phone is for Etsy messages from customers. I don't have the cha-ching. I have never in my life heard my phone go ching-ching. I don't know what that sounds like. I don't care. I want to know when the customers contact me so that I can answer them like right away. Because sometimes a customer will send messages to 5 people, and whoever answers first is the one that's going to get the sale. And I've had Etsy customers say to me, thank you for answering me. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? They're like, nobody ever answers on Etsy. I'm like, wow. Okay. So, just do a good job, answer your convos. I think that's really the most important thing when you're first getting started. If you do nothing but just that, then as far as customer service goes, then that's going to go a long way to help people trust you, All right. Oh, I see a wholesale question. I don't do wholesale, but let me read your question. How to handle someone who contacts you for wholesale on Etsy, but doesn't want to sell wholesale on Etsy? But you don't want to sell wholesale on Etsy. I don't do wholesale because for handmade, wholesale is a different thing. For handmade, most people who purchase wholesale are going to want a 50% discount so that they can mark it up. So for me, that doesn't make any sense because it's not worth it to me to work for that little amount. It's just not. And then I'd be competing against them with my own product. So if other people sell wholesale and you want to post comments about that in the chat, go ahead. I would also be careful on Etsy if people contact you to buy wholesale. and they don't have, like, I would be asking them for their tax ID number. I would be saying, what's your website? You need to do your due diligence and your investigation into these people, because there are a lot of scams on Etsy for people who target newer shops who aren't sure quite what they're doing yet. So they look for shops that don't have many sales. And they figure, if I offer to buy this huge amount, then they're going to be super excited and they won't ask questions. So make sure that you're asking questions. If something feels off to you, then just say no. It's not worth it, because a lot of these times these are scams, and people will they'll say, I want to buy wholesale. And then they get into the, oh, and my shipper will pick it up. And I'm going to send you $500 more because I need to pay the shipper. And you need to pay him that $500 when he comes to pick it up. And you can keep $200 for yourself. I'll pay $700 extra. And that's a total scam, because it's a fake check. And by the time you find out and the bank pulls the money out of your account, you've paid the shipper and taken $200 for yourself, which now you're out all that money, and you don't have the merchandise yet either. I mean, there's a lot of scams that go along. It's not guaranteed that it's a scam, but wholesalers tend to look, or not wholesalers, scammers tend to look for shops that are newer, and because they know that they're more easy to take advantage of. I hate to say it, but I remember the first time somebody bought a lot from me, and it's exciting, right? And if somebody contacts you and says, I love your products, I want to buy a big amount, then it's flattering and it's exciting. And it tends to make you not ask the right questions. So you need to be really careful. And you also have to keep that on Etsy. You cannot take that sale off of Etsy and take the payment from somewhere else, because that's fee avoidance. So not only do you have to take the discounts that they're going to expect, you also have to add in the Etsy fees that you're going to be losing. And to me, wholesale for handmade is not worth it. I know that there are a lot of people who do. I don't like it, because it's, for me, it's, we're working the same amount regardless. And why should we get paid less? Okay. 32. I'm just going to put these timestamps in. I don't know if they're going to be accurate. All right. Survey question. In an inflationary economy where people are spending less, can anyone tell what you might buy from Etsy that you consider a necessity rather than just something you want? I did a whole video about this. It's your job to make people think that they want it badly enough that they talk themselves into needing it. Okay. And that is a marketing thing. Okay. So I don't remember what this video is called. It's about justified needs. No, justified wants. Like I refer to this as justified wants. And my best friend is an economist, and I called her and said, is there a term in economics, because they have terms for all this stuff, for when you talk yourself in, like it's something that you want, but you talk yourself into needing it, and then you justify it to yourself because you say, I really need this. But you really just want it. It's not a need, it's a want, but you talk yourself into thinking that you need it, and that's why you buy it. And she said, nah, we don't have there's not really anything about that. And I'm like, there has to be a term, because I can't imagine that nobody has thought of this before. And the behavioral economists are the ones that come up with all this junk. But I thought it was like, basic marketing is making somebody feel like they need something. It's basically making somebody feel like they can justify buying it. And the example that I used was cute baby clothes, because if you've ever had a baby, or if you know a baby, how easy is it to go out and buy baby clothes because it's cute and the baby needs it, right? And the baby doesn't need that. The baby could wear nothing. The baby could wear a diaper and be happy. The baby doesn't care. But it's so easy to spend money on things that you can justify to yourself that you need. And that's our job as people who sell things, is to market to people and tell them why it's going to make their life easier and why they need it, right? And I can use my products as an example. I sell cake decorations and stuff, but I sell them to people with, saying, you can do this. You can take a grocery store cake and you can save a lot of money, which is true. All this is true. I'm not making stuff up. they can take a grocery store cake and make it look like it came from an expensive bakery by putting the stuff on it that I make. And it's easy. It can save them time. It can save them money. And the the kicker that I use is it will make your friends jealous that your cake is better than theirs, right? And that's putting into words what a lot of people feel and they don't want to admit. But if you've ever been around a bunch of moms with young kids, everybody's competing with each other to see who had the best birthday cake. So I say it kind of like it's kind of a joke, but it's not. It's totally not. So anyway, yeah, but that's in inflationary times, anytime, it doesn't matter when it is, you can still make sales if you sell things that people think that they need. Okay? It doesn't have to be things that they need. It has to be things they think that they need. And it's our job to make them think that they need it. I'm writing this down. Okay. Yeah, I just find that whole concept amusing because it's just selling, and people don't like selling. I don't like selling, but that's how it is. Okay, what is Klarna? Do I have a choice? No, Klarna is a payment process. It's like a time payment, like installment payment thing, and we don't need to worry about that. You get paid right up front. The customer, if the customer has to apply to Klarna, it's not like everybody's eligible. You have to apply, and if they say, yeah, you're eligible, then they can pay it off in time, whatever they're paying. But we get paid all at once. Etsy pays it to us, Klarna pays it to Etsy, and it's not a problem. So don't worry about that. That's an Etsy thing. It's an Etsy payment thing. Etsy payments and the shopping cart is not part of our shop. You have to understand the shopping cart is not part of our Etsy shops. That's part of Etsy. So whatever happens in the shopping cart, that's nothing to do with us as far as the payments go. We can set up things like shipping upgrades and that kind of stuff. But the shopping cart and the payments, that's all on Etsy. So if they do something like that, it's usually not something that we need to worry about. But yeah, Klarna is just an installment payment plan, and not everybody's going to use it, but we get paid and you don't have to worry about it. Okay. Ashley says, I just opened my shop in May and got a star seller. That's good. I'm not saying, I'm not saying you want to avoid star seller. It's just not something that I worry about, Let me see what the question is. It's a nice bonus being so new. I'm sure I won't care about it in the future, but it does confirm I'm doing this right. Yeah, if you get star seller, it just means that you're doing your job. And there will be times when you get low reviews that are going to drop your average down. And that's nothing you can control. So you shouldn't feel sad about it. I think it was in January, I lost star seller. Oh my God. Because in December, I got a whole bunch of 4-star reviews that said things like, this is the best thing I've ever bought. Perfect in every way. 4 stars. I mean, there's just like multiples of those. And I was like, somebody is putting something in the water. I don't know what was going on, but a lot of other sellers were getting the same type of review. I don't know. It was weird, but it dropped my star rating low enough that I missed out on star seller for a month. Oh, well. And that's too bad. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. What can you say? Okay, let me see. 38. I have done a couple TikTok videos at my granddaughter's recommendation of making a product. My sales jumped, but I don't have a following on there and no way to know if that is why. There really is no way. You can check on the Etsy stats where it says where your traffic is coming from. And you can kind of check, if it was the same product that you made the video of, my assumption would be that it would be because of that. But you can check in that stats section, and it'll say like social media and is your traffic up, and you can kind of draw assumptions. If you have Google Analytics set up, you might be able to see that. Sometimes it doesn't show everything, but and you said it was the same product. Yeah, I think that you can pretty much assume that it came from that. So I don't do TikTok because I've got other things going on. There's only so much that you can do. But that's the kind of thing that if you see that when you post product things on TikTok and you get some sales from it, try it again, And I think people on Mary Avalos is doing a TikTok class for me. And it's not for me, it's her class. But I'm going to be putting it on my Teachable site because, like I said, I don't do TikTok and I don't feel like I'm qualified to teach anybody that. But she does TikTok and she sells a lot from it. She gets a lot of traffic. And so that's coming up. We're going to be pre-selling it. If you're in the Facebook group, watch for it, because the first day it's going to be a little cheaper at a discount, because that's how I do my classes. When I release a new class, it's always cheaper for one day, and then it goes up to the normal price and it stays there forever. I don't do discounts. I don't do sales. I don't mess around. Because you know what? When I buy a class, then I see it's on sale the next week, it doesn't make me happy. And I just don't do that. So anyway, we're going to be putting the class up for pre-sale fairly soon. And you don't even have to be in the videos. It's like people like watching things being made, and it's just short form video, you know. But if you did a TikTok and you don't have any following and you still got sales from it, then it might be something to look into more. You know, just you have to try out different things, and then if it works, do more of it. That's basically the idea of everything. You know, just try things out, and if it works, then do more of it. And Mary is going to go through the whole thing, and she just did the intro video yesterday. But I think once we get the first unit up about setting up your account, I will open it for pre-sale, but I will announce that over in the Facebook group. So we'll see. Okay. Emily says, what does the top 1% on Etsy means? It means jack bleepity bleep, a word I can't say because TikTok, no, not TikTok, YouTube. What video platform are we on? YouTube will punish me for saying what it is. Okay, hold on. That top 1% doesn't mean anything. A lot of people like to toss it around. And you can say it. I'll say it. I'm a top 1% Etsy seller. Well, what does that mean? Gosh, I don't know. Because Etsy does not release the earnings reports for its sellers, right? And the truth about Etsy is that there are millions of shops, and a good portion of them are probably shops that people opened and then never put anything in, or they sold one thing and then they never came back. So they're just dead. They're dead shops. They don't really exist. They exist if you find them on Etsy. But I don't know if you guys do search. I do searches for shops a lot. And I'll put in the shop name, and then it'll say, are you looking for this? You know, like, do you want shops with the name this? And I'll say yes. And it brings up all the shops. And usually 9 out of 10 of them are completely empty. And there's always, there's just a lot of shops on Etsy that don't really sell anything. And so that will bring the averages down in a big way. I mean, that will mess up any kind of figures. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have read the Artisan Shopper blog article about how much Etsy sellers make, but in an investor presentation, the CEO, Josh, let it slip for some reason. On average, how much Etsy, like the average Etsy seller makes this much in a year. Okay, so if you know or you want to guess, type it into the chat. How much does the average Etsy seller make in a year? Now, remember, they define an active seller as someone who has had one transaction with Etsy over the past 365 days. So that means if you've listed one thing for 20 cents, then you never do anything else, you never make a sale, you're an active seller, okay? Terry guesses 4,000, probably less than zero after supplies. That's probably true, since so many of them treat it like a hobby. Yeah, 1,500, 2,500. The average Etsy seller, according to Etsy, makes about $2,800, $2,900 a year. And that's not a lot, okay? So when we're talking about, I mean, because I've seen people say, oh, I was told I was in the top 1% and I made $50 last month, It doesn't mean much. It's a marketing thing, It's just marketing. It's PR. And you guys know that comic strip Dilbert? This came from Dilbert. I have to think so that I get this right. He said, marketing is booze and guessing, and PR is professional lying. That's a little cynical, but it has a grain of truth. Okay, so a lot of a lot of statistics and percentages and marketing claims are just blown way out of proportion. They don't really mean anything. And I bet if you asked that top 1% seller, what does that mean? They wouldn't be able to tell you. They would say, it means I'm in the top 1% of all Etsy sellers. And then you could say, well, what does that mean? Just keep saying, what does that mean until they're like, I don't know, because they don't know. They don't know. Yeah, Dilbert is great. Okay. And Cabbage Patch Stuff, is that after they've been selling for a while? No, this is about one transaction in the past 365 days is an active seller. So like I said, if you list one thing and then you close your shop, you're an active seller. It doesn't matter. If you you have to have one transaction with Etsy. So yeah, it's listing one thing at least, but then you could close the shop, or the shop could be shut down by Etsy and you're still an active seller, but it skews the results. Those averages are terrible. Percentages are terrible for telling you anything. I could ask two people, do you prefer this or that? And if they both say this thing, then I could say 100% of people surveyed recommended this product. It's true factually, but it's not accurate. You know what I mean? So yeah, so basically that's a very long way to say top 1% Etsy seller means zero, means nothing. Okay. Okay, Lillian says, do you do live every day at noon? I don't understand your texting instructions. No, I go live on my other channel at 2 p.m. every Tuesday. This is just extra because I'm procrastinating. Oh, and also I want to monetize this channel faster, because until I do, YouTube will slap as many ads as they can on these videos. And ironically, when I get this channel monetized, I can go and take ads off, but I can't control it until I get monetized. So by doing a live, it gives you more watch time, because to have a monetized YouTube channel, you have to have 100 subscribers. So please subscribe. If you're not subscribed to this channel, I would appreciate it if you did subscribe, and that will help. And you have to have 4,000 watch hours. So doing a live will get more people in at one time, and it counts for more watch hours. So that's my ulterior motive, although it's not really ulterior if I'm telling you about it, is it? Okay, I'm going to scroll back up here to see if there is a question I missed. Yes, there is. Okay, Ashley says, I know Christmas isn't your busy time, but when do you suggest to start marketing and adding holiday listings? Now, do it now. Because if you look in Google Trends and search for Christmas gifts or Christmas decor or anything Christmas related, just a general search, you'll see that search popularity starts to go up about the end of July and the beginning of August. And people start searching for fall stuff in June. So definitely you want to have, I just list things all year round. I keep my Christmas listings up year round. And I actually sell, and Patty says she's getting Christmas, already getting Christmas sales. Yeah. Just leave them up. But definitely if you don't have them listed, list them now if they're Christmas specific, because people are shopping and they do shop early and they start shopping. I had people buying Christmas stuff in February. It made no sense to me. I don't question them. I just send them what they order, But anyway. Okay, Ashley says, I think shop reviews and seller stories are super helpful for us newbies. Well, you know what? I think so too. But people don't watch those videos. I'm writing this down. I'm gonna put timestamps on everything. People don't watch those videos. I find it very interesting. And I think the reason is that when people see a shop review, you don't think you're going to learn anything if it's not your type of category. And that's completely wrong. You can learn something, and every shop review has something in it that you can learn from. But I tend to think my assumption is that people think that it has to be the same type of thing that they sell in order to spend the time to watch the video, or they're not going to get, they're not going to get anything out of it. Again, you can learn something from everything. The seller stories, I have a set of videos on my other channel, which is the seller stories talking about that. And I think it's the audio is bad because I was like, I'm talking to somebody on the other end of their computer and editing it together. So we're kind of at the mercy of the tech that way and whatever speakers people are using. But there is so much good information in that series of videos. I would go watch that if you haven't. Ashley says you binge them all. Yeah, I think they're incredibly worthwhile to watch, but people don't watch them. I don't know. And I understand with the interviews because the audio was difficult on those. The audio was bad on those. The shop reviews, people don't watch them. I always find it very strange. But when I look when you have YouTube and you have YouTube analytics, the analytics on YouTube are really good. And they will show you the other channels that your audience watches and the other videos that your audience watches. And I have to say that there are a lot of get rich quick videos that show up in those. And I'm like, I don't know, because I think the people on my other channel are a little more serious Etsy sellers. They're not just starting out thinking I want to get rich quick. Well, that was my impression. I didn't think that, but I think that those titles on YouTube are very clickbaity, and it's you see how I made $950,000 my first month on Etsy, yay! And you're like, what the heck? I'm going to watch that, and that's not my kind of title. But I think if I did videos about $10,000 in 1 month on Etsy, and I do that on a pretty frequent basis, but if I did that, then yeah, people would watch it. But then if I watch those videos because I want to see what are people watching, it's always like, take good pictures, use social media, make sure to fill out your titles and tags. I'm like, that's not going to get you $10,000 a month on Etsy. It's just it's frustrating. I have to say that it's frustrating. I don't want to say that, but it's frustrating to see the garbage that people watch. And I'm not accusing you guys. I don't know who's watching it. And YouTube just shows you kind of a sample. So it could be people that are not subscribed to my channel, and they probably wouldn't because I don't think that my videos are like that. So I think there are a lot of people that look for that kind of stuff, and it's just showing up in my stats, but I'm like, what the heck? But the shop reviews, I think they're a little, you have to pay attention to it and you have to think, right? And the get rich quick videos, you don't really think, you just turn it on while you're working and you kind of have to pay attention to it. Like I posted a video today on that channel that's really thinky. It's got a lot of information in it. And I don't think anybody watched to the very end. I don't know, because I'm looking at the watch time. The average watch time on that is real low compared to the length of the video. So I don't think y'all saw the ending. There's an ending. Anyway, yeah, those videos are clickbait, but they call it clickbait for a reason because it's bait and it catches people. Okay, let me see. Krista says, digital store here. Is it better to list an item one a day or in batches? Just list them when they're ready to go. It doesn't matter. If you have a listing that's ready to go, nobody can buy it until you list it. And the idea that you have to drip things out is not the way that the Etsy algorithm works. So just go ahead and list it all, get it up there so people can buy it. And that's what you want to do. Let me grab another piece of paper just a sec. I do want to start putting timestamps on these because I think it's helpful. List as you go. Because then if you come to a live video, you can find whatever you're looking for. Okay. I'm binging this new channel today. Not now at this moment, though. Yeah. I know I won't get rich quick. A lot of people think they will, though. There's a lot of videos out there. I watch the videos about the people who do the print-on-demand books. And they're like, all you have to do is put a book up on Amazon, you'll make $1 million. I'm like, that's not true. It's not true. So anyway, And Ashley says, those people never tell me their shop names, so I know it's BS. See, I want to know their shop name, and I want to know what their profit is at the end of the year, not their income, because you can spend $800,000 on ads and make $850,000, and you still have to pay for your materials. Okay. Anyway, okay, let me see, 54. Handmade does not equal get rich quick. No, it doesn't. No. Okay, Katie says, should we put Christmas gift in our tags? That's a good question. Let me think. Yeah. Tags are not as important as people make them out to be, but it gives Etsy information. And if you put that in there, then that could help. You shouldn't use the attribute Christmas, because there's an attribute that's for holidays, and Christmas is an option if that's one of the attributes that you have. The attributes are different when you're doing your listing. They're different for every category. So you may or may not have a holiday attribute, but Christmas in that section is for things that are like a Christmas sweater or a Christmas ornament, something specifically for Christmas. If you're saying that your listing is not specifically Christmas, but it could be a Christmas gift, put that in the tag. Sure. Won't hurt. Because that, it kind of throws that into the ring for Etsy. Etsy will see it. I don't think that it's necessary though, but it won't hurt, because Etsy's doing a better job of finding things that it could be a Christmas gift. Yeah, I would put it in. I would put it in, because it's not going to hurt and it could help. There you go. All right. If someone adds something to their cart, okay, wait, this is a good one. I've been forgetting to write these down. If someone adds something to their cart, then leaves without buying it, doesn't take it out of inventory, but if you sell out, does it notify them? I think it will show up in the cart, this item is sold out, because I've seen that before in my cart, but it doesn't send them a notification. It'll just show it in their cart. And those things only stay in the carts for, I think, 30 days. And then Etsy moves them into the save for later section. Like, it'll take them out of their active cart and move it to a different section, but it'll still be there, and it will say this item is sold out. But if they waited that long, that's their problem. That's their problem. So Cabbage Patch Slip says, I don't mind clickbait titles as long as the video is actually helpful and the title isn't deceptive. Yeah, I don't mind clickbait if it delivers on what it says, right? Because that's not bad clickbait. That's good clickbait, because it got your attention and you heard something that you can learn from, if it delivers. But when someone is like, this is how I made, $20,000 on Etsy, and they're showing you November and December revenue, which is going to be super busy, and they don't tell you that they spent $15,000 in ads, then that's deceptive. And they don't tell you that, and they just say, use good titles and tags. I'm like, that's not how it works. So anyway, Lena says, Etsy actually sends a notification on our dashboards to add Christmas words to tags. Okay, good. Tags and titles before the holiday sales. Yeah, it's not going to hurt. It will help. I would go ahead and put it in. Newbie rant. I love a good rant. Okay, let me see, 58. Okay, newbie rant. I got a sale and was really happy. It was a small value item. Then I noticed they took 15%. Damn, offsite ads. Did you say damn? Yeah, not darn. I had no idea it had been on all this time. Now it's off. Yes. If you are a new seller and you have not turned offsite ads off, go do it now. It is, I think, in the marketing tab. Is it in the marketing tab on dashboard? Can someone check that? It's not obvious where you go to turn this thing off. And they turn it on automatically. So you will be charged 15% if someone comes from a Google or an offsite ad, and they advertise on Facebook, Google. I don't think they advertise on Pinterest anymore, but they probably advertise like on Yahoo. Anywhere that Etsy advertises off of Etsy, if someone clicks on that ad and comes to your shop and buys something, you will be charged 15% of that sale. You have to turn that off, and you can turn it off if you've made less than $10,000 in the previous 365 days. Once you make $10,000 in the previous 365 days, I think it's a year. Is it a year or 6 months? I think it's a year. Once you've made that number, you can never turn it off. And then you're only charged 12. Ooh, it's a bargain. No, it stinks. I don't like it. And I especially don't like it because I have a website and I don't want people finding Etsy in Google. I want them to find my website in Google. So I'm competing with myself for my own products when I'm selling on my website and on Etsy. And that could be a topic for another video. But see, that's a very specific topic. So if people don't have a website, they won't watch that video. You have to be very careful with YouTube. It's a very strange system. Lillian says, can I turn that off, the 15%? Yeah, I want to say that it's in the marketing tab. If you go on your shop dashboard on desktop, I don't know where it is in the app, go on your shop dashboard. I want to say it's in marketing and offsite ads. You can go in there and just turn it off. But once you hit $10,000 in the previous year, you can't turn it off. You're opted in permanently, and then you have to pay 12%. So they give, like I said, they give you a break. Ugh. I wish that we could just opt out completely because I don't want to pay for ad percentages that I didn't choose. You know, I don't think that, and it's basically a 6.3 or something. It's like a 6.3 times return on ad spend for the 12%. Or is it higher than that? It's 8. No, it's 8 times for the 12% and 6 times for the 15%. I don't think that's a good return on ad spend. And I think that there's no offsite ad directly from marketing. Okay, look in stats, setting offsite ads. It's in settings, offsite ads. Okay. I knew they hide it. It's not somewhere obvious. See, this is the kind of thing where they know that people will turn it off, and so they don't make it easy. It's actually under stats. I know the stats gives you the information about it. That's where you can see what you've been charged. But to turn it off, I think you have to go in through the settings. See, they spread it around, you know. It is not an obvious thing, and it's turned on automatically, so you don't know until it's too late. So definitely go turn it off. Some people like it. Some people don't think that's a bad return on ad spend. And I think that if you have run Google ads and stuff in the past and you think that that's a good return on ad spend, go right ahead. I don't, especially because you're also being paid, like you're paying the Etsy fees on top of that. So, you know, it should have been in marketing tab, but it's not, so you don't see it. There you go. Yeah. I know that they kind of moved, they put it someplace shady so that you don't see it. Yeah. And that's a tricky thing. Yeah. Okay. Lauren says, friends of mine use Etsy as a cash register and send their customers from Facebook. Yes. Occasionally one of their regulars clicks an ad and my friends have to pay 12% extra on their orders for 30 days. Yeah. And that's on that customer's orders. So this is how the offsite ads work. If let's say that I'm shopping on Google, I click on an offsite ad, I come to Etsy and I buy the thing in the ad or anything in your shop. Okay, so I'm clicking on an ad that goes to your shop. I go to your shop and I buy something. You have to pay the fee for that. If I click on an ad that goes to your shop and then I go to somebody else's shop and buy something, they don't have to pay the fee. Okay, so you're only paying a fee if somebody comes from an ad that came from your shop. They came to your shop from an ad that was for your shop. But you're not paying fees if they come from somebody else's ad. So that's all right. But then if that same person, if I go back and buy something from your shop within the next 30 days, you also have to pay the percentage again. So you're kind of, let's just say you're stuck. You can't get out. And a lot of people, in a very annoying fashion, will go to Google and search for your shop name, and then they'll click on the first thing that they see, and it's usually an Etsy ad because the ads are at the top on Google. And then it just gets them into that cycle. And I know that people say, oh, my customer, this is a repeat customer, and I was charged that offsite ad fee. And it was outside the 30 days. And I asked them where they got to me from, and they said they didn't go to Google. I don't believe it. Okay. I don't think that Etsy manipulates that, because if anybody ever sued them, they would have to bring up all those records. They can show the tracking from where things come from. I'm not worried about that. I think that when you ask people, what did you do? They don't remember and they don't report correctly. And that's, it's surveys. This is why whenever anybody does a study where they say, we asked a whole bunch of college students, what would you buy? And they told us this one. I was like, okay, well, number one, college students don't have any money. And if they did, they wouldn't buy any of that. Okay. And they're just going to tell you what they think you want to hear because you're their professor and they want to get a good grade from you. So whenever anybody says, here's a study, and we surveyed a whole bunch of people about what they would do, you can just take that whole study and throw it in the garbage. Because until you can show that people do something without knowing that they're being watched, and they do it on their own free will with no outside influence, then you can't say that that's what they're going to do, you know. And people genuinely think that that's what they would do. I'm not saying they're lying. I say they genuinely think that's what they would do, but that's not what they actually do. You know, how many of us would say, if I saw someone being mugged, I would help. I would be paralyzed with fear. I probably would not help, you know. I don't know. I can't say what I would do until I was in that situation. So anyway, that's kind of an extreme example, but you get my point. Yeah. So but it will carry over. I was like, how did I get to that point? It will carry over if somebody clicks on an offsite ad and then comes back to your shop within 30 days, or if they go to Google and search for you and they come to your shop through another ad, it'll start the whole cycle over. So yeah, just turn it off. I see you guys are turning it off. That's very good. Yeah. You don't need that. And then once you're stuck in it, when you set your prices, you have to take that into account when you're setting your prices. So like when I set my prices, I basically have to take every possible, like what's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is they come to my shop from a Google ad, they sign up for my email list and get 20% off, and they choose something that has free shipping. Okay, so I have to set my prices taking every single possible discount that could happen into account, because if you don't, you're going to lose money. That's just the way it is. Okay, does anyone else have anything else? Because I've been talking for an hour and I can wrap this up. I'm supposed to be writing blog articles, you know. It's going to start raining here soon anyway. The reception's going to get all weird. Any more questions? One more question? I know I've turned the slow chat on, so nobody can, if you've posted, you can't post anything else for 60. Okay. I completed the Turtle Starter Challenge. And now I confused a bit. Are those tests are like an example of what will come in the Turtle Wins the Race, or that's part of the paid course? Turtle Wins the Race is a paid course. It's, yeah, the Turtle Challenge, it's kind of, the Turtle Challenge is it's a free challenge. If you guys haven't done this, it's a free challenge. The Turtle Wins the Race course is about getting yourself in a mental state ready to be a business owner. And it's more about the organization. It's about like arranging your SKUs, arranging your stuff, arranging your schedule, arranging your mentality, right? And someone summed it up and said, the Turtle course is about being a business owner, and the eShop Success Program is about running a business. So the Turtle Wins the Race, people say that the first part of it makes them cry because it really makes you look at your real attitudes and stuff. Because you can't, and I did a long live on my other channel about a month ago, maybe. I was talking about money and money attitudes, and the Turtle course goes into that. It goes into making you say, like, why do you want to do this? And what are the reasons that you would fail? Because we're going to look at that right now so you can get over it, you know. And there are a lot of reasons why people close their businesses that have nothing to do with the business themselves. So you feel lost without the claw. I know I don't have the emojis here. Another reason, if I get this channel monetized, I can give you all the claw. We could have the claw over here too. The eShop Success training is really good. There's so much helpful information. It costs way less than the gurus who don't even sell on Etsy. Yeah, I try to keep it reasonable, and it's like a tiny bit under $500, but that's it forever. It's not like a membership. It's one-time payment. You get every update. That's it. And I'm in that group all the time. I'm not the person that's going to dump you and say, here's the class, see you later, bye. You know, so I'm in there updating things and answering questions. And we do lives every week. And that Facebook group is really good. I mean, it's better than the public Facebook group, you know. So anyway, But the turtle class is more about cleaning out physically and mentally and getting ready to run a business so that you can be successful. The eShop course is about the mechanics of running a business. It's more of a marketing thing. Okay. You're too poor for classes. I should give away a class. I was thinking about giving away the eShop starter over in the other channel to the members over there. But it's totally worth it. Don't buy something you can't afford. If you can't afford a class, don't buy it. Just save up for it. You know. Okay, I want to get the turtle training next. I have a feeling I should have taken that one first. That's the one that most people should take first. I feel like I need life to calm down long enough for me to save up for it. Yeah. Don't buy something. There was one person that said that there was I know exactly, now that I started saying this, I know exactly who this person was who told her this. This person was trying to sell her a course, and she told her, you have an extra car, go sell it, because then you can afford my course. And I was like, that is the worst thing I've ever heard. Oh my God. Yeah, don't buy things you can't afford. Just save up for it. And it's not, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. And you really, I mean, you can just watch my YouTube channels and pick up a lot. It's easier to get the course because it's all in one place. And I go into depth in those more, but you can watch the YouTube channels and get a lot. You know, people shouldn't be selling cars or going into debt. No, don't do that. Don't do that. And I've seen people who sell courses, and this is where I start biting my tongue because I'm like, it was, yeah, I don't want to say it. I've seen how they talk about squeezing money out of people, and I think it's disgusting. But anyway, do not follow what she says. Wait, it's the best advice. Oh, okay. I say a lot of these on Facebook groups for years. I'm told to quit telling people. Yeah, this is Connie had posted that she gets told by a lot of people that she's mean because she tells them the same things that I do. I'm sure that I've crushed some dreams before, but oh well. You know, I hope that it saves. I wrote a book, and I think that you can get it on Amazon for free. I think that Amazon has it marked for free. It's called Not So Common Sense, something about running a home-based business. I don't know. I wrote it when I had a wedding cake business, and I had somebody buy it and read it, and she wrote to me and said, I want to thank you because I read your book and I've realized that running a business is not for me. And I was like, that's the purpose of the book. Because if you get through the book, and because it says, and then this can happen, and then this can happen, you need to watch out for this and watch out for this. And if you get through that and you're like, okay, I can handle all that, then you're fine. But if you get through that and you're like, I don't want to deal with that, then that's not for you. And running a business is not for everyone. It's just not. It's not easy. It's not passive by any stretch of the imagination. I work more now than I ever did when I worked for other people, you know. And Steffi, I will answer your question. I want to say the name of my book. I think it is. It's called Not So Common Sense. I've written a few books. If you go to Amazon and search for Kara Bunton, the books that I've written will come up. They're supposed to be free because I use the trick of Amazon won't list things for free. They won't list things at zero, but they will price match. So if you go to Barnes and Noble and list your book there, and then go to Amazon and say, hey, it's for $0 at Barnes and Noble, they will match it. But they keep raising the price up to like $2 or something. I don't know. So it's supposed to be free, but it's not. And anyway, but you can go to Amazon and search for Kara Bunton and all my books will come up. I have like a planner. I love my planner. I was so tired of looking for planners that worked. I just made this planner, and inside it is completely blank. It's got nothing, and I just fill it out every week. It's fabulous. Because I couldn't find a planner that worked, so I just did that. Anyway, but I have some books on there. And then Connie says, where do I go for you in advanced sellers? the other YouTube channel is more complicated. Like I said, I did a video today I posted on there, and it's very thinky. You probably need to watch it 3 or 4 times to pick up on everything in it. And I apologize for that. But at the same time, I don't, because it's really good information and people need to hear it. Okay. And then Steffi said, what's the difference between traffic from Etsy marketing and SEO and Etsy search? That's a really good question, because people think of SEO on Etsy as Etsy search. But when Etsy says SEO, they mean offsite search engines. So Google, Yahoo, Bing, any search engine that people use off of Etsy is Etsy SEO, and marketing is ads that Etsy runs. Okay. So when Etsy is talking about Etsy search, they're talking about searching for things on Etsy. When Etsy talks about Etsy SEO, they're talking about outside search engines traffic coming to Etsy. So that marketing is the Etsy offsite ads. Etsy SEO in that section is Google traffic or Bing traffic or Yahoo or DuckDuckGo or whatever search engine people are using to come to Etsy. And it's not the same thing. So yeah. All right. Not so common sense and how to improve your Etsy shop basics. Yes, that's what they are. What is it called? I want to go with you there. The other YouTube channel is just Kara Bunton. And I think you left a comment on the other YouTube channel, so you found it. That's the one that I do lives on Tuesdays. And that's every Tuesday at 2:00. And it's the same kind of thing as this. We just talk about what's going on Etsy that week and talk about questions and that kind of thing. All right, I just want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. I don't think I did. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up because I've been going for an hour and I do need to go do some work. So I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for hanging out with me. And please subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up. I am going to go put the timestamps in right now so that if people are coming in later. And again, I apologize if this shows you 90 million ads, but as soon as I can get this channel monetized, then I can take those out. But until I do, I can't do that because YouTube does it themselves and I have no control over it. So I apologize in advance, but it's not my fault. Can't do anything. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good afternoon. Yeah, go do something. Go do something useful. I don't know. I'm going to go write some blog articles. I'll see you later. Bye.